to
Radio
my
Cutman.
murder trial. Let me pull up the PowerPoint.
Don't sound
Are
so
we
excited,
live?
Bo.
We are live, yes.
Not for long.
Shut up.
Gordon, why is the first thing I see in the chat is whips the jury from you?
Because I said that he needed to get the jury to stand down because they're calling her
Yeah.
guilty. And yelling guilty as like a defendant enters the courtroom is just not
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Yes,
against
we
my
will-
client's rights.
We will have order.
Where are we ordering from?
Taco Bell.
All of a sudden, Poe bans everyone in chat right before the verdict. She's the only one who votes for herself. It's like, where'd all the jury go?
Look, full sense, I'm sorry that you're too sick to do the prosecution, but you know what? Like, take a seat, okay?
Is the
There
trial
is
march out? Is it out in the lobby or?
You say there's no bribery, but we have trial merch.
Golden is just profiteering. That has nothing to do with the trial, almost.
Okay.
Is the defense ready for today's trial?
Allons-y.
Yes, Honor.
Yeah.
Is
Ready
the
as ought to be.
prosecution prepared for today's trial?
I believe we are.
Objection, the prosecution is not ready.
Alright, so let's
But you're
just
not the last.
introduce ourselves here. I am Poe Collector 64. I have been accused of murdering a random NPC from Final Fantasy VII while I was playing Final Fantasy VII blind by doing faulty CPR. I am pleading not guilty in this trial.
Gonna ask how you plead, but I guess that takes that out of the way.
Oh yeah, I plead not guilty.
Oh, let us do the talking. We are lawyers.
You need to listen to the defense's counsel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
On the defense team, I'm Gaminus Gamer.
Oh, and I'm 5'12". I run a mediocre channel.
Is that the same as 6 feet, or what's going on there?
No, it's not the same as...
On the prosecution, I am PoisonedBats in place of Mr. False Sense, who cannot be here with us today, unfortunately.
And I am ProfHammerRadd. I look forward to doing business with y'all today.
Well, I'm Judge IceRicer, also known as the King of Mario Party.
Yeah, you did win the game of Mario Party on Thursday.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Gordon Frenchman. I am the bailiff and executioner. I am here to ensure the trial goes as swift as possible. Please give me your money and...
And all of you in chat... Ignore his threatening noises. All of you in chat who are not listed on the slide are the jury. Congratulations, you've been summoned to jury duty.
It says Swims, Golden, and False, it looks like.
You can contact your job about getting this day off. You don't have to take sick time or anything.
Well, with introductions out of the let
Mr.
the
Hop.
trial of Poe Collector 64 versus Twitch chat, was it?
Do you have a gavel that you can bang?
Do you have a gavel?
Or just
I
a heavy
don't. Do we have a... Oh, we
That's
should have
too bad.
put a gavel in the soundboard.
Oh,
That
That would have been solid.
I'm sorry,
Just
I don't...
use that.
Just
There's my
No,
gavel.
That works.
you could just push over a table or something. Have a table next to you
mhm.
and push it over when you need it.
I like the air horn, though.
Bring his whole computer down. It's fine.
Order! Order!
Please,
Order!
ladies and gentlemen, as I need to make a very heavy French accent. Let's do it again. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish this trial to deliver sweet justice in an efficient way. And money. I am done. And here my professional card.
It's amazing that we were able to fly him in from France for this trial.
Yeah. He's not even
know,
part of
it's
the
incredible.
U.S. This isn't even the U.S. justice system. I don't know what whack-ass justice system this is.
Midgar trial.
The
Twitch
Midgar.
justice system.
Justice system.
Okay, and also be sure to check out Golden's merch table. There's shirts supporting both sides shamelessly.
I like the shirt on the right.
Yeah, me too. And all proceeds go towards snacks for Golden, so it's a very good cause, and Golden would really appreciate it if you would contribute.
All right. Prosecution may begin.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we are here today to try Poe Collector for her crimes. So
Ooh.
Poe is fully aware that this trial is going to be in the format of guilty until proven innocent. So the onus, I want to reiterate that the onus now is on the defense to prove their case, and it's not on the prosecution. And that was Poe agreeing with it in that exchange that we had. By the end of this, it should be pretty clear that the prosecution's case is solid and that Poe is guilty. The prosecution rests.
The defense may give their opening statements.
All right, let's do this. Esteemed members of the jury, this trial may seem as a fairly simple murder case, but actually it goes far deeper and far more sinister than you might let on to believe. For I believe that this trial is not only targeting Poe Collector 64 for the case of murder, but for the fact of running her own small business in the area of Midgar and Hyrule. As you can see on our opening statement slide, many members of this court have slandered my client before the trial even started, which, honestly, to me, seems like a bit of a rigged court system. Poe Collector 64 is a soul collector, as her name implies. You can even see in the bottom right what the daily life in her business looks like. I believe that this trial, this quote-unquote murder of Priscilla, is set up on false pretenses by the prosecution and of the court to obstruct her business and shut her business down for the sake of Shinra Electric Power Company, as will be explained later. The defense rests, Your Honor.
All right, prosecution.
This is our first piece of evidence.
You can click go on that video.
Look, when I murder people, it's for a good reason.
Within the video, Poe states for the record that she murders people for a good reason.
So the implication here is that if someone dies at Poe's hands, it is never by accident.
So as we know, I am a medical professional. There's only like so much amount of time that someone can be unconscious and not breathing for them to still be alive. Even just 4 minutes can cause severe brain damage to where they cannot wake up, or severe intellectual disability. If you keep going, death is going to be imminent at about 8 to 10 minutes without oxygen. In post-stream, we have some timestamps and everything. Priscilla was knocked unconscious face first in the water at about, as you can see, 1:41. She defeated the monster, attacked her, and had pulled her out of the water about 1:45-ish. And she attempted to administer CPR, but, she didn't do that well. And, quote unquote, Priscilla woke up at approximately 1:49. So that is a long amount of time to be without oxygen. And technically, at that point, she should have died.
The next point is that when her father picks her up, can you click play on that video? Priscilla don't look so good. She is rigid as though she's been dead for a while. I defer to Dr. Bats again.
Yes, so once someone has passed, after a few minutes, they can go into a process called rigor mortis. And at that time, they can start contracting because of all the calcium channels that are just kind of being flooded with no regulation. And so they can become as stiff as a board.
I know what you're going to say. We've seen Priscilla walking around later on in the game. We know she's still alive. I know that's what you're thinking. But we also know that the story is told through Cloud's eyes. And Cloud is not the most reliable narrator. He even inserted himself into a whole story. He was assuming he was the main character. Speaking, of course, of the flashback. So how can we say that what we think we saw afterward is even true when we can't question essentially our storyteller, or we can't trust our storyteller? And then, of course, even if she did happen to survive that instance, it's very unlikely that she survived the Final Fantasy VII bad ending that Poe got when the world was essentially ripped apart by the incoming meteor.
Objection, that did not happen.
Your Honor, the client isn't allowed, the defendant isn't allowed to speak to the prosecution.
Objection.
Yeah, sustained.
Objection.
The accused will remain silent during these proceedings.
Sorry.
Well,
Thank you,
as
Your
a
Honor.
defense, objection. That scene actually did not occur.
Final Fantasy VII bad ending argument will be stricken from the record.
So in terms of Poe's actions and resulting in the deaths of another innocent child, this isn't the only time this has happened. Can you play video?
I figured, Prof. Liz.
Essentially what you're seeing here
This
is
is
this
horrifying.
little girl
Oh my gosh.
begging Poe for help.
Your Honor, if I may interject,
This
this video
is
shows
game
clear
take a
instance
hard
of
left turn
self-defense
as
of
the
Poe
narrative.
against the little girl named Liz.
I think the video
Oh
speaks
my
for itself.
gosh.
I would like to object to
But-
that objection. Clearly, Poe has the higher order thinking into where she can go away from the fight. Instead, she chooses to fight.
I object to your objection of my objection because, as you can clearly see at 15 and 16 seconds into the video, Poe does run towards the door, yet Liz grabs Poe with her hand, causing Poe to have to force into combat.
I have to agree.
She
I
had
object.
another.
She returns again and again, even after failing the first time. She continues to go and fight this child who is innocent, who cannot help herself, and she keeps trying to kill her. And eventually she does.
It shows the intent that she wants to kill
making
her.
a declaration. I am agreeing with the defense on this one. He's stricken from the record.
Rigged.
Prosecution will move on to their next point.
The final piece of the prosecution's case is this Yiga Assassins game, where Poe specifically says that she was tormenting the Game Chop's kiddos with the Yiga game, and even said that you all die. To the right over here are instances of scenarios that she created, resulting in the deaths of all these characters. She enjoys creating these scenarios, essentially to deal out death, which is consistent with what we've laid out so far. We have an expert witness, Poe's bestie, Yuffie Kisagari, who is an experienced materia researcher. Would you like to introduce yourself, Yuffie?
Hey y'all, my name's Yuffie.
Can you speak at all about your history or your friendship with Poe?
Oh yeah, me and Poe, we go back a long, long way. I took some stuff from her, but she really didn't mind all that much. We kind of toughed and fought, but after that, you know how girls are, we just kind of get back together.
What was it that you took from her?
It's some materia that I was trying to research, and I mean, it didn't seem like she was using it at the time.
Did Poe ever engage in materia theft with you as well?
Oh yeah, all the time. She would take me along with her to like go into caves and into other castles, and we'd find materia either by defeating some monsters or, you know, killing some people. It was fun.
So what would your assessment on Poe's character be?
I think she really loves just having fun and going out and just doing whatever the heck she wants, whether that be murdering people or just kind of, you know, taking things that are not hers. So to me, that's fun, but I don't know about y'all.
Witness may step down.
All right, then.
You may begin by cross-examining cross-questioning the witness, or may address claims made earlier.
Can you repeat how you described your relationship with Miss Collector 64?
So we are pretty much best friends. Like, you know, sometimes you just kind of come into contact with people. You think you're going to be enemies, but she just invited me onto her team like it was nothing.
Are you sticking to that statement?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, well, if it is all right with Miss Collector 64, we have evidence during our examination that Poe Collector 64, quote, cussed out Yuffie for stealing my materia, unquote.
Okay, I did get a little cussing, but then she brought me right back.
And would it be reasonable to say that Tifa Lockhart was also part of this little escapade, as she is a member of Avalanche, the group Collector 64 and yourself were traveling with.
Oh yeah, I remember Tifa.
No further questions, Your Honor. For
Yeah.
Yuffie, I mean. Yeah, I mean, the rest
The
of
witness is dismissed.
Yuffie's perception of Collector 64 is definitely flawed from how Miss Collector 64 viewed their relationship. Not only that, but Yuffie also said that Tifa was a member of the party and a part of the group during the death of Priscilla. And as will be stated later, Tifa is, in the sense of Cloud's hallucinations, a stable point, as she was able to experience many of the same events that Cloud did, and is shown to be a reliable source of information if whether or not something was a hallucination or not, because Tifa experienced it.
I would also like to rise to the jury's conscience that Collector 64 acted in that situation, but we've established both of these other members of the party were present, yet we did not see any action on their part. In fact, we see evidence of neglect. Yet they are not called to trial in this case of alleged murder.
Not only that,
Objection. I would like to object on that.
On what grounds?
I don't know, like other laws, whatever that's called. So
I'm gonna need a
if you are
justification.
not-
We wanted to address a piece of the evidence given where our defendant stated, "When I murder, it's for a good reason." As the defense, we argue that we must consider Collector's job and role. She is a cross-platform hero, and she has fought villains of many types. So we must consider that murder has been necessary for the greater good of many different groups of people.
And may I also notice that in the said video that the prosecution presents, Mario Party music was playing in the background, implying that the clip taken was never from the Final Fantasy VII series of streams, but rather a completely different context.
Objection, it doesn't have to be.
Objection, you're wrong.
Objection, nuh-uh.
Overruled?
But we must consider that Collector 64 has been faced with various extreme situations where groups of people who are innocent are being threatened. And as a hero, she has stepped up and fought such monsters. And sure, this has been on purpose, but it's been for a good cause, nothing malicious.
Objection, that's genocide.
Genocide, as
That's not genocide.
the defense would like to present their own evidence. Now, pardon my French, but the biggest piece of evidence here that this trial is a sham, and like I said, pardon my French, she's alive.
Gordon, Frenchman, can we confirm, was that French?
Objection, I'd like the word removed from the stricken from the record.
Yeah, I second that. I did not feel comfortable saying that. So, as seen from the various images shown on screen, there are multiple instances of people saying that consciousness was regained in Priscilla and that she is doing fine. And may I add, looking at the bottom left image, you can clearly see right in the center of the screen Tifa Lockhart, which, as I mentioned earlier, means that what Cloud was hearing was not a hallucination, but a standard fact of the matter. Next slide. You will see a video of Priscilla herself going up and talking to Cloud, aka Collector.
See, there she is! I didn't kill her! Screw you guys!
Going
Objection, how do we know that just because Tifa is in the scene that we can treat it as trustworthy? That's undercut by the untrustworthy flashback containing Tifa.
Can you please clarify which flashback you're referring to?
The Nibelheim flashback. The first one where Cloud sees himself inserted instead of Zack.
The prosecution's objections are sustained.
Now, continuing onward, I would like to first go against the slander of Collector 64's job. The thing the prosecution doesn't want you to know is that every single member who joined the Yiga Assassin's game volunteered. And I should know, as myself and on the prosecution, PoisonedBat, were members of the Yiga Assassin's game. Hell, I even died in it. Well, she did too, but that's not the point.
If you consented to play in the game, that's not murder. You consented to be part of this game, which potentially included death.
Mm-hmm.
It also seems to the court
question
that
is
all
whether or
of the
not death
supposedly dead
happened.
individuals are in fact living at this point in time. Is that true?
It is true. And may I just say for a second that how it is rather odd that the true culprit behind all this is shown clearly, yet the prosecution decides to cover it up like it's nothing.
Dolphin. Angry French noses. What? Oh, okay, there's an actual monster. For a second, I thought he was still talking about the dolphin.
As clearly seen, the giant aquatic monster known as the bottom swell attacked the innocent girl named Priscilla, who Poe Collector was unfortunate enough to witness. And who was the one who channeled this bottom swell creature to the shore? That would be the dolphin. Now I've been thinking, oh, it's a cute little dolphin. Well, dolphins have the capacity to be very terrible people. Well, not terrible. You understand. You understand what I mean. Terrible
Dolphins are
creatures,
the
yeah.
worst people.
Exactly. I'm glad you agree with us, prosecution. There are even instances of dolphins taking baby sharks and using them to play volleyball with. There are even some instances of other cases that I cannot state because if I do, this stream is going to get taken down. But they are not good. I'm just going to say that. If we go to the next page, we can barely see that the bottom swell is a hostile creature and fully intended to attack both Poe Collector and Priscilla, whether or not the dolphin's involvement is valid or not. As you can click on the video and see, it wiped out and killed everyone in Poe's party.
Okay.
As you can see from the video, the creature was in fact hostile, designed, intended as Tetsuro Imoria made. He made this creature to be hostile towards everyone near it. It is a hostile creature through and through.
This clip also shows that Poe Collector and Priscilla were both victims of the same creature.
And I feel that all of this has to be done, the real blame, on Shinra Electric Power Company, as shown on slide 25, because, as very stated early, Shinra Electric Company has committed various war crimes throughout the game.
Objection, Your Honor. Is this relevant to the case?
It is very relevant to the case because if we are to assume that the bottom swell was a member of another experiment of Shinra Electric Power Company made by the dolphin, or okay, that went wrong way. Never mind. Remember how I stated earlier that Priscilla originally thought that Cloud and company with Poe Collector 64 were Shinra members. Why then would the Bombswell attack in the vicinity of Poe Collector and Priscilla?
Seems
In
relevant
short,
enough.
Shinra is complicit in this attack on the group and the so-called death of Priscilla.
The jury may form their own opinions based on this argument.
Objection, engaging in speculation.
I would agree. The defense will move on to their next argument.
Considering we see that the dolphin views the group in the middle of
Okay,
Discord and
almost
chooses
dead
that
here.
time to approach.
Alright, I
A
guess I'm gonna
dolphin uses
figure out
Discord?
what I wanna do here.
Objection. Dolphins don't have
no-
hands.
They have
chat.
noses, and I have unlocked my phone with my nose plenty of times. It's cold out there.
Right?
I'm just slightly sweating. It's fine.
2v1.
The defense may move on to their next argument.
I think that we must consider the kind of money grabs and bias that has been present in the situation, particularly this trial. There is propaganda being sold about the defendant's guiltiness. There's an expectation that the defendant is guilty, and I think we consider that this company is an enemy of small business owners such as Poe Collector 64 and has great amount of money at their disposal. I personally find that there's a connection to draw between the expectations and bias and money funneling into that bias in this very court. But we will continue on to the testimony of Poe Collector 64.
Poe
Please,
Collector 64. please come to the witness stand?
Hi, Your Honor. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's I don't know what else is left to say. Like, I was trying to save the child, and it was just really difficult, okay? But, like, I did my best, and, it eventually worked, as far as I can tell, you know? Like, I saw her moving around later, and it was, it seemed pretty clear to me that that's what happened.
Miss Collector 64, could you expand on your intentions in the act and your emotions as it was continuing?
I mean, this poor kid's just lying on the beach, and, obviously it seems like her lungs are all filled with water, and I couldn't just leave her there, so I was trying to help. And, I didn't really feel like it was confusing and it was difficult, but, I did my best.
And can you tell the jury, how did you feel when you heard that Priscilla did in fact survive the incident?
I was very relieved.
Now, have you heard of the Good Samaritan?
Yeah.
Could you give a brief description of the Good Samaritan to the court?
It's like a dude who gets beat up, and a bunch of like highfalutin dudes pass him over because they don't want to get all nasty helping him. But then somebody who's from Samaria helps him out, even though theoretically they're kind of supposed to be enemies.
Very good. Consider that at first Priscilla expected Poe Collector 64 to be her enemy. Now, have you heard of Good Samaritan laws?
Yeah.
And could you describe those for the court?
It's like if somebody's is trying to save somebody's life, I think they get certain free passes on injuries that they may accidentally cause.
Objection, Your Honor. Are these laws present in the Final Fantasy VII universe?
Can the defense provide a specific law from either the Final Fantasy universe or Poe Collector's place of residence?
I believe the Good Samaritan law is present in the state of Wisconsin, Your Honor.
And do you prove it?
It's for the entire United States. Stop.
Regardless of whether the law stands up to local statutes, I think we can consider Poe Collector 64's actions as a good Samaritan, a person who has positive intent in interacting with a person who is undergoing medical trauma. And the prosecution has presented a picture of Poe Collector 64 as a malicious murderer. But even if Priscilla did not survive the actions that Poe Collector 64 took, they nonetheless had positive intent, and she gave her all in the action of trying to save her. The defense has a character witness, that being myself.
Objection, is that even possible?
Objection, it seems like a conflict of interest.
So I met let me start this again. I met Poe Collector 64 as a poor, lost freshman in my first year of college in choir.
Objection, she doesn't even know her name.
She greatly expanded my social horizons and kept me from being a lonely freshman in college.
The prosecution may begin their cross-examination.
What evidence do you have that the dolphin is what summoned the creature?
It's a simple show of cause and effect throughout the time of
So no evidence.
video.
Okay. Miss Collector, you kept saying that you were confused as things were happening. Which character were you controlling at the time?
Cloud.
And which character have we established that is not the most trustworthy?
I mean, look, if we're trying to argue that, like,
Please answer the question.
If we're
Please
trying-
answer the question.
Objection. If this were a blanket statement applicable to any scene, we could in fact assume that the scene we are having on trial right now is not trustworthy.
Right,
We cannot doubt every single scene of Clouds.
How do we even know the murder happened at this rate?
So another piece of this is that when Bottom Swell shows up, Priscilla runs toward, and Priscilla was within arm's reach of Cloud at that time. Poe could have grabbed Priscilla and stopped Priscilla from running toward the monster.
I was in shock. I saw the monster and I was kind of freaked out. You know, there was a lot of things to look at.
So you're agreeing that you could have stopped her from running toward the monster.
Maybe theoretically, but I didn't know what to do.
Thank you.
I would like to ask a question. Miss Gamer-esque, is that you and Poe in that picture together?
That is indeed.
And you say you two are friends, correct?
Yes.
What kind of friend would allow Poe to be in that kind of outfit?
Sorry.
For context, that picture is in fact a performance of Russian music, and thus the outfit is in line with Russian culture.
Objection, that's racist?
Miss Collector,
Yes.
is it true that you have a little bit of anger issues?
No.
Objection.
Reason for objection?
Hearsay.
I ask that you get to the point.
Okay. Miss Collector, is it true that you use bodily harm threats whenever someone calls you a small bean?
Can you provide examples?
For example, when we are in the VGSL lounge and either I or Prof or Swims mentions a small figure like a bean, and in reference to you, you seem to get upset and threaten us and tell us that we are going to die.
I mean, I get upset, yeah, but what specifically do I threaten? I remember telling you I'm gonna write you out of my will if I die, but that's not violent. So...
But anyway, nonetheless, you have threatened many of times towards us, your so-called quote-unquote friends. And so it kind of lays a foundation that maybe you could have a tendency to be a little aggressive. And that could be why Priscilla didn't survive.
It's not true.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
It's not true. She survived.
Also, one more thing, Poe, I would like to head pet you and call you a small bean. That is all.
No.
The witness has
Objection.
Submitting that as evidence.
Harassing the defendant in court.
I don't think I have any further questions, Your Honor.
Closing statements for the prosecution.
So to reiterate, we have been operating this trial on a guilty until proven innocent, with the burden of proof being on the defense. The defense has been unable to conclusively show that Priscilla did survive. We did establish Poe's intent.
The last thing, I would like to go forward one more slide. I want everyone to see what Poe thinks of us. This is what
This
she
is what
says
Poe
to
thinks
us.
of the jury.
That is taken out of context.
This was not taken out of context because I believe it was directed at me
No,
and or Prof.
Actually, it was directed at Prof, but it was in defense of you, Bats.
It actually was directed at chat.
I believe, considering the picture is very offensive, I will fine Poe for $1,000 for offensive pictures.
Prosecution rests, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we must once again consider the bias inherent in this trial against my client. Not only are we given an unjust system of guilty until proven innocent, but even members of the jury and others have stated her guiltiness before the trial itself even started. But as members of a society that needs people to step up and act as heroes like Poe Collector 64, consider what considering guilty does. It allows corporations with money that can establish unjust systems of justice like Shinra to win and to continue corrupting our society and making it harder for children such as Priscilla to continue. Don't demonize a hero. The defense rests their case.
All right.
Your Honor, may I say something? I object to the implication that the prosecution is essentially like in the pocket of Shinra like supporting the corporations. That the defense brought that up multiple times and then never went anywhere with it.
This court system is within the world of Final Fantasy VII, and I believe the Shinra Corporation pretty much pays for everything. So that said, yes, this trial is brought to you by the Shinra Corporation. All hail Shinra. Anyway, I believe that brings us to our recess. The jury.
So we get to go out and play?
The jury may take a moment, consider all facts, make what you believe to be a fair decision. We will reconvene shortly.
All right, hello everyone. We are back. Let me turn everybody else's audio back on. Okay, you guys should be back.
Bonjour.
Hello.
Order.
Booty.
But
Careful, I will hold you in contempt of court.
Shink, shink, shink.
Hey now, it's not here yet. Okay, so I have to like go on break or whatever. So
Get out of here, Poe.
see you on the other side.
As the executioner, I would like the thing to speed up. I have Sesame Street to watch after.
I'm still listening. I'm just not
Do they
looking
have
at
to,
chat.
Some of them just seem a little confusing.
Yeah, just be clear, guys. Yeah, what do we do if Buttspot repeats somebody's vote? Do we count that?
Oh, well, that's his vote. Golden, what do you mean?
I'm gonna give you guys like another minute to get any more votes in.
I'm not looking at chat, so I have no context for any of the things you guys are saying.
Oh.
I feel like I'm just like, like defendant, go sit in the corner. Like, okay, the gallery / jury is just like shooting the shit.
just start grabbing people off the street. What do you think?
I think that's gonna be it.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the last one.
Alright.
Call everyone back in from recess. In the case of Twitch Chat versus Poe Collector 64.
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
We gotta read the pre-verdict.
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of
mail.
myself.
Oh, okay.
Oh. I was not aware of
This
this.
is not a regular court.
We got fan mail before.
A not regular court for a not regular trial.
Mr. Hope says, in case the defendant is found guilty, if you thought you could get out of the court unscathed and hoped you'll be found innocent, here's how Hope looks at you now when you get closer to the guillotine. Next slide. Oh boy. Well, that's, yeah, Trollface Link, that's, yeah, thank you, Mr. Hope, I appreciate that fan mail, it's very disturbing.
Oh, wow.
Incredible.
My eyes.
Master of Photoshop.
Oh, we got someone from 512 too. Wait, he was my lawyer, what?
Maybe he was gonna explain it, but...
Yeah.
Everyone's attention, please.
Uh,
In the case of Twitch Chat versus Poe Collector 64, court finds you not guilty. You are hereby acquitted of all charges.
What?
What we sign here, what
Let's
this
go!
feeling, it's a death toll
This
clocking
was
ring.
rigged.
Frenchman.
I hugged my client.
A flashing blade above your head. Yes,
Gordon. Gordon.
Oui.
It was not guilty. Not guilty. You can go home.
He not guilty, was guilty.
No, not guilty. No one's getting executed.
I will take my
Okay.
I blame the jury.
I'm really emotional right now.
I blame the jury, especially after the prosecution bodied the defense so hard.
Yeah, we had so many good points.
But I'm innocent. They know
did an
justice
alright
when they
job.
see it. They know the truth.
Exactly.
Do we all like line up now and do like a little handshake or a high five? Like, good game, good game.
Good game, good game.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess.
yeah, like it was a baseball game.
Congratulations,
Wow.
Miss Poe.
I'm so glad that Poe Collector gets to live and continue streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to your next stream.
Thank you, jury. I'll never forget this. Except those of you who voted guilty. I know some of y'all did.
I got to admit, I was surprised when people started typing in those not guilties.
When this is done, I'm gonna go
did
light a
die.
candle for Priscilla.
Okay, you go do that. I'm doing a Bronx
like-
cheer behind my screen. Okay, well, thank you everybody
Should
for
we
coming
still talk about
to my
that?
trial, and I'm
Yeah,
so glad
thanks for watching.
that I'm still alive.
Thanks for voting.
I didn't think that I would be at this point, quite frankly. So I'm very pleased to be able to end the stream myself. This is a huge honor.
Justice
Thanks
for
making us
Dalton.
happy also.